calm down. This is just a nervous breakdown. So those of you who suffered from any kind of nervousness knows very well that to tell someone relax, calm down when you actually have a strong symptoms not only doesn't work at all, but it makes things even worse. So this is the last advice that we could give to someone. Considering what's going on right now in the world situation, in another lockdowns, and I don't know what country you are listening it from, this video will be about nervous system related symptoms still often misdiagnosed as schizophrenia, depression, eating disorders. So I'm going to take you very quickly through the types of nervousness, and I will use for it typology from Poland. I didn't find the right typology in English language. If you do, please send me the link. I may just not find it. Anything in English literature, what I found, it was not related together. So compulsive, obsessive behaviors, they were totally separated from anxiety, panic attack, but it belongs to the main reason, that is nervous system. So that's why I'm going to tell you about 5 types that are creating different symptoms and could be misdiagnosed for another type of mental interruption, let's say. I don't want to call it disease. So for this, those who don't know me yet, I'm Joanna, and I'm not psychotherapist in a strict sense. I'm working with a lot of psychology, also coaching, and using also other forms of alternative help and sort of a spiritual, if you want to call it, like a yoga, tai chi, self-realization methods. But for this video, I'm going to share with you with some of my, during my practice, some of the symptoms I had myself personally, so I know exactly how it feels. I work with a number of therapists for myself, and I also offer the coaching, the sessions, whatever people wanted to do was therapeutic for them, or inspiring, or creative, or self-knowing. That's fantastic to me. So I'm going to focus more on the remedies for it and the ways of dealing. I give you just a few examples because this what's happening right now triggers in a lot of people the symptoms that perhaps they dealt already better with. The amount of police and on the streets, maybe in some of the countries. I live in Germany, so here we have that, the lockdown, the sort of pressure or stress. It can cause different kind of symptoms that we need to, well, navigate through them, because it's impossible to be separated from our environment, which is good because we can relate one to another. So the main typology in a Polish language, it was the nervousness called the fear one. Fear nervousness, it is very similar to what in English it's called anxiety and connected with panic attacks. And you have the symptoms like helplessness in the situation. You have pain in the chest. You cannot walk. You cannot deal with the day. It's happening randomly. You can also feel the real pain in the chest, or you just are scared, or just are very insecure about your environment, and you don't really know where to go. Some people have a higher blood pressure here, diarrhea, obsessive thoughts, which is actually also very common to another type of nervousness. And in most cases, this one and other, the very important part is psychotherapy and connecting it depending on the intensity. So depending on what the type is, to different pharmacology or natural herbs teas or oil, essential oil therapy, movement. But in this one, some of the people recommend meditation and breathing methods. I didn't see that the deep breathing was helping in this case. Most of the time, the people are not able to breathe deeply, it deepening their pain in the chest. What is more recommended is to gently stretch your chest. So maybe hang from the when you have a door, put your hands outside, hold it, and just push your chest forward, but not rapidly, but very, very gently, and the other way around. Some people recommend laying down and like in yoga position, and having the chest and opening, like you can lay down on the bench and have the chest more open, so have a pillow along your spine and do not do rapid movements. So that is the first type. I'm going to go quickly through the other ones. The compulsive, obsessive one. You not only have our obsessive thoughts here, and this one is very easily to see. Why the first one, you don't know until this person won't tell you that something is wrong. Here you will see, because the behavior of that person will show you that she needs to knock to the door several times. Maybe she needs to do the repetition of the behavior is pretty obvious here. I'm actually translating some of the words, some of the symptoms, because there are many. I'm not translating everything, but I'm doing it from Polish language. It's very often misled with depression and schizophrenia for some reasons. And here they are strongly recommending pharmacology and behavioral therapy for it. It makes sense if some of you know the research of Dr. Joe Dispenza or Bruce Lipton, and this is about psychobiology, and I did also a number of recordings with my guests about it, Jameson Thompson and other people, Joanna Chomicka, but that one is in Polish, Eva Habros, and they are all saying that you need minimum 30 days, maybe a month, to start to establish like new firing new neurons in your brain by a new behavior. So some of people recommended to do that in the clinic, in the environment, when you are not triggered by the daily triggers that may evoke the old pattern within you. And then you have another month for establishing this behavior, and then it's another one to maintain. If you want to fully go through that, it takes at least a month to deal with that on a better level. The other one is the Depressive Nervosa. So of course this one is very often misled with depression. The main symptom of that is like you totally have no energy to do anything. Your nervous system is so affected. I saw that in people, like they were almost in a catatonic state. They just look at one point and they were not moving, and that happened soon after traumatic experience, something that was very highly stressful in their life. So I watched that, and I know these people came back to life and functionality, but the response was pretty strong. And I didn't see that very often, but perhaps that will help someone. So in this case, so please be very cautious about this, because everything what I'm saying, you have to also feel if this is the right type of behavior when you are encountering person like that. If you know to what level, how do you know this person? Is it a stranger? Is it your friend? So when that is your friend, someone you at least knew for a little bit, then what helped, what I tried out and what helped was to gently putting the hand on the shoulder of this person. And when the hands were open, you can also touch this person and put something in the in their hands. These people are so overwhelmed that when you talk, when you have like a normal flow, like you think you are discussing something and you are talking in a normal sense, they cannot hear you for a while. It's like the whole world is shutting down for them. And the best, when you don't know if you have a connection with this person is hearing you even. I mean, they hear the noise. They cannot make the words out of it. It's better to stop talking, and it's better to stay silent with this person, to catch the moment when you can connect. So this calming down is very, very subtle almost. At least that's how I view it. What psychology recommends here, they of course say it's not easy and there is a pharmacology needed, because this one is actually the most dangerous one. So just like with the depression, it can lead to a suicide. So the pharmacology and the strongest antidepressant here are in some cases necessary, because this person cannot function at all at the very beginning. And what I do not recommend personally is when people start to take antidepressant, but it's not connected with psychotherapy. They just take those pills for another years, and basically I knew such examples. So it can be, of course, related to feeling lonely and helpless, and these are typical emotions that are also present with other types of nervosa. The tiredness is peculiar, and this state, like this person cannot do anything. It's, I think, the most profound thing that can happen. When you see something like that, then it's very likely. Of course, we don't want to diagnose anyone here, but we just want to understand in order to help whether self or somebody else in your environment. So the next one is the nervosa connected with your heart, so heart nervosa. And this one, of course, it is almost like the fear was suppressed so much that it caused this high blood pressure, arrhythmia, cramps. So some people have to be medicated in a hospital because of that. It's very dangerous. The blood pressure, just, you cannot control it. What's helpless in this situation is that the person basically is like a chemical reaction. So basically it's like you have to go to the toilet. You cannot control it. So it's happening totally behind you. Like when you know that you are scared, you know these are emotions. You can more or less disconnect that you are dying. But here you can have a feeling you are dying, literally, because you cannot control it. You may not even connect the emotional state with what's happening in your system, in your body. It's all related still to the nervous system that is crashing. But the feeling of it, some people actually, they don't feel bad at all. They just have this high blood pressure. They have to go to the hospital. And I know about one example of that, when the person just had to be in a hospital for a while right after losing the job, and seemingly nothing happened, but the body, well, it's hard to joke with our subconsciousness. It just doesn't take the joke, you know. So this is the reaction. And psychotherapy and, of course, pharmacology, different. These are not antidepressant or any kind of drugs like that, but this is like for the blood pressure mostly. The last one is nervosa connected with the stomach, like stomach nervosa, very often misled with eating disorders and also anorexia, bulimia, so-called, but also you get here all kinds of symptoms like indigestion, bloating, sensitive gut, and there is a one peculiar, well, there is many, but there is a one that some of the people also have to use pharmacology to the end of their lives. So the doctors are saying, I'm just so sorry, I forgot about how is it called, but it has to do something with the gut, and they have to take pills to the end of their life in order to monitor that. And they also did not connect, they are not scared, they are not nervous. It's just the stomach, the gut, the internal organs are reacting. So again, this is the nervous system, and you can also suffer from anything else that that was stated before. So you can have a diarrhea, you can have a sleepless nights, but what's profound here, it's that you can vomit or randomly vomit. So basically this is for people, some people who go in for exams or interview, they do not know that they are nervous. They feel sort of like a normal nervousness, and they like to make it on the level like it's like everybody else, but all of a sudden they walk to that institute and they throw up on their way several times or one time, and they miss sort of the moment. They do not connect. They are not like extremely paralyzed and scared, which is more for the anxiety, for the nervosa, that you are not able to perform. You do everything. It's just, you know, in the meantime, you run to the toilet to throw up, or your body suddenly bloats and you don't know why, and you didn't eat anything that's supposed to cause that. Let's say you have a really great diet. So for these people, even the best food, the most healthy food in the world, can be indigestible, and the very often goes with allergies, food allergies, gluten, lactose, fruits, like almost anything. So this one is also very hard to deal with, because the psychotherapy is always recommended, but also in this one, what can actually help is the intensive sport with following relaxation and stretching techniques. Some people say, especially those who practice yoga, they say that in the stretching, we touch, just like in a psychobiology, we touch those cells that are carrying our memory of the past and anything that was traumatic in the past, because it's stored there. So we sort of release it by the stretching, by psychotherapy, by working on it. So we have to bring that unknown, unconscious content to our mind, to sort of see that movie for another time and acknowledge that something happened, that we have those triggers. Now I'm gonna get to three levels of dealing with those different sort of symptoms. And the very, very first one for every one of them, it's depending on intensity, is pharmacology. So if this is the fear one, depressive one, only depressive one, and obsessive compulsive, that is also possible. You may take antidepressant, of course, in relation to the doctor, to the psychiatrist, that can really diagnose it well and work with you. Do not do it yourself, please. Well, I don't know what country you live, but you know, in Poland, former times, if you convince the doctor you suffer from depression, you may get some good prescription for it, and you may not even get a checkup, but I probably shouldn't say it, so let me not say it more about that. Be careful with those prescriptions and healing yourself by yourself. And the lighter forms, they are working too, and some people say they're working too slow, they're working very subtle. It takes a little bit time. So Melissa, Camellia, they are working good valerian drops on your system, but it may take a while, and you have to be consistent. 3 times a day, 2 times a day, those drops. Essential oils, some people say that essential oils, you don't have to take the more of the drops. You just do it like a homeopathic dosage almost. So you put in a few drops in a little bottle of filling of the good quality water, and you take that every a few hours or 3 hours, as often as you can. As the people say that what it creates spiritually, and this is completely up to you, take it or leave it, that's just an information. It creates a sort of something in your aura around that calms down the system. So according to the spiritual belief that before any symptoms happens in your physical body, it is already happening in the subtle bodies that are further away from you. So following that theory, we have several subtle bodies spread all around us. Before it's going to catch to the physicality, it's already there. So those essential oils, it is claimed that they're working on those subtle bodies. So these symptoms is taking longer, or is not going to hit your physicality, your physical body. Sounds good to me. Let's try it out if you feel like it. So that's the affecting the chemistry in a most simple way. So you take something, you take some ingredients, and of course a lot of people talk about it already, saying they are not allowed to say that. The good results of marijuana for any kinds of nervosa. In any case of nervosa, some people say it helps already. I'm going to just leave you with that information. Let's move on to the number 2. When you can help yourself by doing self-work, and this one consists with the training, and it is recommended probably in obsessive compulsive, in a stomach one, in a lighter form, not exaggerate for the heart nervousness, but a physical effort, like you have to sweat. I'm sorry to say, but this is required, the discipline. You saw it on a documentary with Shaolin monks, what they are doing there. So the nervous system is a very complex, and sure, if you're gonna get hit, you are going to react to it. And this was a part also how I dealt with my nervous system when it was so vulnerable that basically a one hit could cause me tears. I was not feeling it, but the body was reacting on it. So just as some of you may see that the monks are throwing that wrist with the bones to the sand and hit it until it gets stronger. So this is unfortunately taking the training and the discipline when you sweat, when you're falling down the floor, when someone else is hitting you. So it took me around the month of the training, and I not only could take a punch, and because when you do start to train, even though it's safe, to a certain degree, you have to feel that punch. So it's not totally dangerous, but those people who have compromised nervous system may have a huge discomfort at the very beginning of the classes. But it's highly recommended, especially for stomach nervosa, with some in a lighter form. So you can go step by step, not for everyone. It depends on intensity, but anxiety, so then fear nervosa, compulsive one, not so good at the beginning for those suffering from a heart nervosa, because it can trigger those pain in the chest. So basically it can come to the point when just the movement, very light movement, could almost paralyze this person and bring enormous pain. So here you have to be careful with that one. So the movement, applying it on a physical level, and then you can stretch, then you can do relaxation techniques, any kind of breathing methods. And here again, deep breathing for the compulsive stomach nervosa, but not for the hard ones, and sometimes not at the beginning for those who suffer from enormous fear and also have this pain in their chest. Then rather there is this method of Buteyko method, Alexander technique, because then you work more mentally of extensions on your body. So you just imagine more that with slight breath, observing the breath, your chest has the space. So you feel more spaciousness of your body in the space by just putting attention to it in your mind. With the deeper breathing, for those other types of nervosa, it's recommended. And here I actually want to recommend you the studies in the Stanford University by Andrew Huberman. I will leave you the link under this video. So you can actually have a great lecture hearing him. But what he stated, it was very interesting how quickly you can influence your emotions or your body, the chemical structure of your body, by breathing in. And the interesting part is when you want to get energetic, stimulate yourself, and you have something to do, you're stressed, then you are extending breathing in. When you want to relax, you are extending breathing out. And also you can find on internet now, also on YouTube, there is the channel called Mantra Breathing, and I recommend that one because you can exactly have the nobody counts even, but there is a music when you hold the breath, when you exactly hold the breath, when you're breathing out, and you can find your own pace so you don't choke. Please do not overdo, because it's very dangerous for your heart and your chest. But there is a certain level. You can breathe on 4, 5, 6, 7 countings. Do not go directly to 20 countings and so on. Just pick the one that it fits you well. But this one is extraordinary because if you want to get energized, you already know that the breathing in goes with that. If you want to relax and relax the heart, the muscles, internal muscles, then you slowly breathing out. And perhaps you remember the breath I always recommend. That's the basic one. And you can also slow it down to your own personal comfort. I'm just going to remind you, it goes like this. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth, saying speechless ha. And wait till it's calming you down if you need it. There is another one, very popular one. So I'm going to show you when you breathe on down onto. For the stomach, there was this yoga breathing, this fire breathing from your stomach, this hot, 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 hot. And this one also, some of you may use it, but also for the certain amount of time. So start with 5 minutes, with 1 minute even, and see what it does to you. See which one is the best for you that you can really apply. So this is number 2, physicality, breathing, working on those emotions. And here is also mental emotional work. So psychotherapy is the best. With the great therapists, you can really go through your trauma, your way of habit and what's happening, discover, working in this internal, enormously rich world of so-called fairy tales sometimes, but it's so real. And if it's real for you, it is real. because it helps you in your consensus reality in your life. And my favorite technique and forever here is process-oriented psychology. So if you ever work with that, I truly recommend this with Arnold Mindell, Amy Mindell, and a lots of great specialists I can recommend and list probably all over the world, but of course regarding to the country and where you live, and also the personal relation to your therapist. With not everyone you can resonate. So pick the one that resonates with you absolutely. So that was the number 2. Now we're going to go into spiritual world number 3. So there are times that even though you are working on yourself, you have a psychotherapy, you take drugs, you do anything you can, what's in your power, and you lessened the impact of what happened to you, you have under stress, or like now the lockdown, you don't know what's going to happen, there is a certain fear, you coming out. So let's say you work with yourself, you feel great, but you walk through that city and you are right back in the panic. And because you saw numbers of incidents that happened, or this situation is not stable, there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of theories what's going to happen to you and to your friends, and inability to travel, and so on and so on. The list is long. That's what's happening now. So here I'm going to, if you used anything what was in your power, let's say you meditate, let's say you are also energy practitioner, so you working with your visualization, this is already part 3, because this Reiki work with visualization, that is also already working on energetical level. But you are, whatever you live, you are by yourself. And if you're going out there and you are very feeling person, you may experience all the symptoms coming to your environment. I personally have a lot of dreams these times, and some of you who could listen in the Polish language, I had a numbers of dreams about Bill Gates, about Trump, about extraordinary dreams that I am not there. I don't live with around these people. I just hear the news. So even though I don't think about certain people in my life, I get the messages and the dreams about them here in Germany, and they are explaining me things. They are telling me what they are doing, why it is necessary. I pick their emotional state. The next one is also because I am the one that dreams. When something happens, I get the messages this way, and also from my symptoms in the body. So so the profound thing is, I just want to tell you to not disregard whatever you dream about, and just see if there is any synchronicity there with what's going on around you. For me, it's very strong, and I'm just gonna give you another example here. When I was dreaming about bear, the next day I had several friends that also had their dreams about bear, and also that bear was biting my hand and leg. And another day, just someone told me that his leg is swollen, and also the hand. So it has some sort of connection, non-locality and synchronicity to it, that not always your symptoms are only yours. You may perceive other people's symptoms, or the country situation, or the world situation in the world. And I'm not going to get into details about the politics here and what's happening, what was going on in Poland with the women protests and so on. But it was very much related to that bear that a lot of people from different countries, friends of mine, were dreaming about. So so that was sort of also feminine power that is awakened, that is going with those constellation, and we would have to go into the whole astrology to make sense of it. But the main and the most important thing on the energetical level is when you do have people that you can trust, they also energy worker, and you cannot deal quite with the amount of what's happening to you, around you. It's good that you ask for the assistance of them, because just one prayer for someone who knows what he's doing, is conscious, it may help you tremendously, your practice. So this is the work of visualization. I did also a video of it about manifesting what you want and how you can work with it. And this is all working in a different percentage for everyone, but also depending in what state you are, in what country you live right now, what's happening around you. So I hope this was inspiring for you. If you feel like you find value in it, or someone may find value in it, you know that people are dealing with those sort of things, please pass this video. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I welcome you very warmly here. Stay and go cruise for those videos I did, and with a lot of guests also. I have a playlist here about self-realization, that actually I should recall it as self-knowing, more about some dreaming, extraordinary, and curses, and related to my books in ancient Egypt and so on. And I also have some a fascinating topic about power, how it was working for the century, about artificial intelligence, where are we going. And so these are sometimes coming to a little bit touching on the political side sometimes, but also interesting when I'm inviting those guests and listening to their viewpoint. What's the most important for me is that we do relate, even though we don't think the same way, that we can communicate. So I'm trying to bring people that are thinking contradictory things sometimes from someone else. I can bring people who are following this leader or opposite leader at the same time, because I think if we do not have a connection, relation one to another, we cannot talk about it. We just separate one part, one group from another. So I welcome you to share with me, what do you think about it? Please pass this video, share it with those that you think they can value from it, and see you next time. Bye bye.